gentlemen, we would like to invite you to share today's photos to your Instagram and give the hashtag 2023 ICPM and then hashtag info for academia. 4 stands for number 4. And then the best Instagram post will get free entry to our next conference. We also invite you to follow our Instagram at info AIBPM and also at info for academia and our YouTube channel on AIBPM Talk Series. You can obtain up-to-date information about our events, publication opportunities, and the video of our conferences. The information has been shared in the chat box as well as other important information related to the coming events and opportunities. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to introduce you to the keynote speakers of today's conference. We have 4 excellent speakers with us right now. First one is Mr. Meng Kue Ho from University Sains Malaysia, and then will be followed by Dr. Sahid Amin from ITM University, India, and then the next will be Mr. Tarindu Amisekere from Postgraduate Institute of Management, Sri Lanka, and then the last but not the least will be Dr. Majdi Anwar Kutaina from Kuwait University. It's also my deep pleasure to introduce you the moderator for today's event, Dr. Ranjit PV. Yet, is everything good from your side? Okay, well, let me read your short bio first. Dr. Ranjit PV has over 18 years of experience in academics. He holds PhD degree in service quality with field of expertise on operation management, quality management, quantitative techniques, analysis of projects, and support. Published papers in different facets of management in reputable journals. He has attended a number of workshops conducted by Academy of International Business, and he is currently in charge of the review committee of AIBPM. He has worked in reputed college in Mumbai, India, and now working as associate professor at Chris University, Teams to be University, Bangalore, India. He is well versed with SPSS and marketing engineering tools, and the endeavor to learn new things and share that knowledge among the stakeholders like students, faculty members, and corporate community has helped him immensely in his professional life. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome Dr. Ranjit PV. Dr. Ranjit, the time is yours.
Thank you, Ali ma'am. For today, I'll be the moderator for the whole sessions, and excited to listen to all of you. 1 or 2 of you already know me. The others will be exciting to talk to you and have a conversation. Before we start, let me just give some rules with respect to how we will proceed. As Olia ma'am said, we have 4 very good keynote speakers, and when the keynote speakers are talking, all participants will be muted, and there will be a question and answer session at the end after the keynote speaker is finished. And there might be a lot of questions, but we will find out who can be called upon that based on the relevance of the question. So keynote speakers, please note that we have 20 minutes for each keynote speaker and 10 minutes for any so that we can finish the process on time, so that the next presentations and other things can continue. Sorry if I'm spelling it wrongly, because being an Indian, I have my own limitations of pronouncing. If any mistake happens, please pardon. Our first speaker is Mr. Meng Kue Ho. Again, it's difficult for an Indian to pronounce the names, and vice versa also. Anyway, let me introduce Mr. Meng. Now your turn, sir. Thank you for your presence here. Please start your speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rajiv, for the kind introduction. Yeah? And also thank you the organizers AIBPM for having me here again. I was here last year virtually as well, so hopefully one day I will be able to attend in person, because I have honestly I've never attended academic conferences before. Yeah, so I have attended mostly business related conferences. I think that will be interesting. Yeah, so I feel honored instead to share the stage with so many distinguished speakers today, because I am still doing my PhD. Yeah, haven't completed yet, so that's why I'm not a qualified PhD yet. But I'm happy to share my knowledge based on my working experience and dealing with the businesses over the past 3 decades. Yeah. So let me before I start, let me share my screen. Yeah, it will be easier. So you can see, right? So as stated on the screen, the topic of my keynote address today is reshaping SME business for sustainable. Let me close this first. Yeah. All right. Reshaping SME business for sustainable growth. Right, so I find this topic is very in line with the theme of this year's conference in Bandung, which is the studies of business survival in the current global business. So as mentioned by Dr. Ranjiv just now, so I will be representing University Science Malaysia in today's talk. So in my keynote address, I will be touching on broadly 5 key areas here. So I will be highlighting some of the significant impact on SMEs, particularly due to the pandemic. And subsequently, even though COVID has left us almost a year, but businesses are still struggling. Yeah, in fact, many of them are still struggling across the world and in Malaysia. So due to various challenges. So here under item number 2, I will be touching on what the immediate business challenges. Yeah, that are still impacting the businesses. And third, having talked about challenges, so what would be the solution? So I will try to share some of the solution, where SMEs can actually apply and consider to tackle some of these post-pandemic shock. And item number 4 are the opportunities. What are the opportunities for SMEs to do? I mean, as they recover from the pandemic, So this will be a key focus of this presentation, because obviously there are many strategy where businesses can leverage on. But for this particular speech, I will be focusing on internationalization for SMEs. So number 5, and the last but not the least, I will be talking about the implementation actions that actually SME can take on to realize their internationalization goals. Okay, let's move on to the presentation proper. So part 1, pandemic impact on SMEs. So as you all know, last 2 years have been a big struggle for everyone, for businesses, even for people like us, our life and livelihood are impacted. I mean, during the lockdown, I'm sure your experience, I was having a coffee with some friends yesterday. So you will say, hey, what actually have we achieved over the last few years, or during the COVID? Because we were forced to stay at home, right? So we didn't do much. We didn't see a lot of customers. But for me, I'm a bit fortunate because I make full use of that lockdown time to start my PhD studies. So at least I would say I achieved something productive during the lockdown period. So in these slides, I categorize the impact on SME into 4 broad areas. As you can see in the green highlighted in green: financial distress, supply chain disruption, disoriented business environment, and also human capital interference. So on the top, you can see these are the impacting impacts globally, and the bottom one being in Malaysia. So I will share some of the local experience for information as well. So globally, financial distress, as you know, I mean, during COVID, the whole world actually stopped evolving. Stopped evolving in the sense that many businesses stopped doing, port were closed, a lot of disruption happened to the business world. Liquidity crisis, demand and supply shock, business failure during that time, during the pandemic, increased by 6.15%. That is distress. So in Malaysia, 67.8% of SME did not capture any sales during the lockdown. So imagine, almost 2/3 of the businesses actually sit at home doing nothing. And bear in mind, they have to continue to pay rental and also some of the basic operating cost expenses. So total losses based on the survey were estimated at about 40 billion, so which is close to $10 billion. So in terms of supply chain, as I said, most of the ports were closed, during the pandemic. Global disruption of manufacturing, inputs cost the world 126 billion. This is huge, right? Massive. And China, US, and the Euro, EU, collectively importing and exporting over 60% along the supply chain was badly impacted as well. So again, in Malaysia, uneven trade flow between continent caused container shortage, leading to escalated shipping costs. At the peak, I was told by some of my clients, the container cost actually gone up 4 times, from the normal price. Imagine 4 times to bring in goods into the country or to export their goods to elsewhere. So their profitability has been easily wiped out. So disoriented business environment, dramatic changes in demand and supply of goods. So the whole business environment changed. So things that has been going on well before COVID has collapsed, right? So past success did not guarantee the future, the current success. So in Malaysia, SME biggest concern lies with the difficulty in predicting the future business direction. Many SMEs actually decided to just close down their business because they just do not know how long the pandemic will last. Initially, they thought the pandemic will be just like SARS that happened in Hong Kong and China. 10 years ago. So everybody was so taking it easy. They thought, the pandemic will be over in 3 to 6 months, at most. So unfortunately, this one, the pandemic dragged on for more than 2 years. So it's very challenging, very tough for most SMEs, So the last point is about human capital interferences, So because of the cost matters, all these things, a lot of companies, including multinationals, they have to retrench some of their staff, and pay reduction. So globally, they are estimated about 1.37 million full-time job losses, over the 2 years period. So in Malaysia, the unemployment rate peaked at 4.6%. So in Malaysia, normally we don't have a lot of unemployment, except some people choose not to work. But during pandemic, a lot of people are out of job, because of the thing, So in conclusion, the COVID pandemic severely impacted the SMEs. So let's move to the next slide on global economic impact. So I will go through this very briefly. Okay, so as you can see, there are three columns here. Economic performance across the world in year 2022, 2023, and 2024. What I want to bring across is the global economic growth is going to slow down this year, 2023. If you look at the chart, last year world economic growth was 3.4%. So this year estimation is only 2.8%. So even with exception of China, which is, I would say, an outlier. Last year 3%. This year they are expected to register 5.2%. And India 6.8 down to 5.9, which is still remarkably high. So you can see what's the difference between all these nations. Some China, India are Asian countries, the rest are European countries. So I will go to that part later on. So what are the primary reasons that will impact this year's economic performance? Obviously, number one is the geopolitical. The impact of Ukraine war. A lot of destruction due to the war. And macroeconomic issues. So inflation, slower than expected recovery in China, and monetary policies imposed by many developed nations. In US, the interest rates have been going up continuously. Every meeting they raise some of the interest rate to a very high level. So inflation remains a major concern, resulting in higher prices of goods and services. So the global economy, however, is expected to gradually improve in 2024. So again, back to the chart, the world economy is going to rebound back to 3%, and the rest, like China, will be softened a little bit, and India will continue to grow to 6.3%. So in this economic growth slowing in 2023, moderate improvement in 2024. So this is something good for us, At least we can see, because businesses can start to plan for 2024. So moderate recovery in Southeast Asia, ASEAN will remain one of the fastest growing region in 2023. I think we are lucky because we are sitting at Asia, this part of the world, that is continue to grow. Yeah. So except for Singapore, the other Asian nations are expected to grow above the global average in 2023 and 2024. So on the right side of the chart, inflation to moderate in 2023 and 2024, gradually towards the pre-pandemic level. I think inflation is important, because most of the population in this part of the world are not what we call high income earners. So we need them to have enough money for survival and at the same time to spend on goods so that to drive the economy. So Asia will contribute about 70% of global growth in 2023, and it will continue to contribute significantly in 2024. So in Malaysia, you can see the chart, up and down. It's so unstable over the last 2 years from Q1 21 to Q1 23. So it's so baby. So anyway, Malaysia has considered recovered, nicely. Our first quarter GDP growth was 5.6%, which exceeded some analysts' expectation. Growth underpinned by private consumption and investment, primarily in the services and manufacturing. So business sentiment improved. Yes, I mentioned that. So increased cost pressure, remain a significant challenge for SMEs. However, so 80% of the respondents stated so in one of the surveys done by the government. So increased cost pressure, as you know, Malaysia dependent very much on foreign laborers. So during the pandemic, many of the laborers actually are gone home, and many of these people have not returned back to the country. So due to the shortage of labor, so businesses had no choice but to raise their salary to pinch people from other companies. So the cost pressure is one thing. So in the near term, economic prospects remain upbeat, supported by sectorial performance and continued expansion of a labor force condition. But there is one critical areas that I didn't highlight, didn't state down in this page is political uncertainty. I wouldn't say instability, but uncertainty, because if you are in Malaysia, every day you read the news. So it's something very much about a political situation. So this is something that the Malaysian government need to address to attract DDI, domestic investment, as well as foreign investment. So must ride the wave of improving the economic. Indonesia. Why Indonesia? Because this conference is held in Bandung. So it's Indonesia. I just came back from Indonesia 2 weeks ago. So this is where I got a nice batik from Jakarta. So Indonesia, I think the situation is I'm pleased to see the situation in Indonesia. I simply love the place because economic wise, because of the huge population. Indonesia, you have 270 million, and by 2023, the population is going to touch 300 million. So this is tremendous. And I was told by a friend in Jakarta, daytime population in Jakarta alone can be as high as 25 million. That is almost the entire population of Malaysia. We only have 33 million across the country. So tremendous. So you have what the World Bank says, your demographic dividend. So you have young population, and a lot of your populations are still able to work very hard. So Q1 economic grew by 5.03%. So growth was driven by household. So I will go through very fast because of the time constraint. In conclusion, SME will benefit from the steady economic growth in Indonesia. You look at the chart, as compared to Malaysia, up and down. So the chart has been quite steady. 5. So what are the immediate business challenges? So despite, we have gone out from the pandemic, there are still some business challenges that need to be addressed by the businesses. Number one, obviously, geopoliticals. So the Ukraine war, trade war between China and USA. So a lot of issues that are disrupting the business sectors. So the second one is divergence of standards. The data flow across location prevent countries from expanding globally. So when you have this inconsistent data requirement, and some country are more stringent on the data, or they may spill some of the information, may breach their security situations or this thing. So this will slow down business, particularly those that need to cross border. So the import and export restriction imposed by countries. Some countries, they don't like it, so they impose certain condition, some restriction to protect their domestic business. Yeah, so this one will also impact businesses that wanted to go international. Yeah, so the bilateral restriction on technology flow, I think this is not good, because in long term it will impact innovation of businesses. Yeah, reducing the global ability of knowledge and technological advancement. So this one really discouraged transfer of transfer of technology between. So I have highlighted 4 areas where I mean, this is in Malaysia context, where SME can actually consider and act on to tackle this post-pandemic shock. Number one is to leverage government assistance. In Malaysia, the government has spent a lot of money, so helping providing incentive to businesses, particularly the SMEs, to bridge over the difficult period. So in addition to hard cash, the government have also come up with a government guarantee, to help businesses to secure banking facilities. So I think SMEs should leverage on this assistance provided by the government, at least to bridge through this challenging period, for them to build their resilience. The second one is to realign the supply chain management. So improving supply chain resilience by selecting and dealing with the solid suppliers. This is critical, because businesses learned during the pandemic, so they don't have supply to produce their material. So maintaining critical stock level to handle possible delivery delays. Again, this one involves money and a lot of good planning. So this is critical. So the third one is to prioritize your global networking. So intensify core competencies, in respect to market intelligence, product innovation, and pricing. So especially for businesses that wanted to bring their business, expand their business abroad. So they need to really raise their business competitiveness. Their product needs to be differentiated. Otherwise, who wants to buy your products? Right? So this is important. And lastly, but it's not least but not the fourth is to sharpen your employee skills. Developing skills. Some of the skills need to be resharpened. So I'm not saying that irrelevant because of the change in technology. Some of the staff need to be reskilled. And also to learn new skill, so that they prepare the company for future. So overall, the SMEs must reshape their core competencies for sound business recovery. All right. So this brings me to the important slide here. So I only have about another 4 minutes here. So I will go through very fast. So how do we strategizing international competitiveness? Again, four areas I've highlighted to leverage on the trade blocks. As we know, so in Asia, Indonesia, Malaysia, we are part of the ASEAN, so we can leverage already. Many companies already are leveraging on the ASEAN network, and the next big one is the RCEP. RCEP is very critical. RCEP is the regional comprehensive economic partnership that cover, I think, 15 countries or so. So SME will definitely benefit from the trade liberation and globalization under some of these agreements. So localized sourcing, this is a bit controversial, because when we say we encourage SMEs to localize their sourcing, but what happens if SMEs they themselves actually adventure into a different country? So if they are setting up their operations in the other country, then it's fine. But if they are to rely on export itself, then the foreign SMEs may not buy from them, because they also want to leverage on their local sources. So this is something that SMEs need to think for foreign SMEs to buy from them. So so good about their products. So what are the product differentiation that will allow their overseas customer to buy from them? Right. So the third important strategy is to intensify innovation, because innovation will differentiate the products, will help to improve on the productivity, the quality, and eventually to also improve on the overall profitability. And lastly, we can't miss out is the people. So we need to continually cultivate talents, to embrace the best practices in employee engagement, welfare, and also training and development. So many companies are good at hiring, but they are not good at retaining. So hiring must come with retaining good talents, because otherwise the company will spend a lot of money. To the last slides, So this last slide is pushing the boundary. What does it mean? So this is the implementation of action. So what are the few things that the SMEs need to do or to sharpen themselves before they actually go into internationalization? So transformational leadership is something that I think is most important for any businesses that they want to excel in their activities. And this is involve the people at the top. So changes, as we know, must start from the top. So why transformational leadership? Because it's inculcate change in the followers and the organization they lead. By number one, to not just to focus on the KPI performance numbers, but transformational leaders will also motivate the followers, to raise the morale, so to make these people enjoy working in the company, to actively engage their peers to take on tasks more confidently, so eventually will lead to better business performances. So the second one is digital transformation. I'm sitting at the task force for digital economy, so I will not miss out this digital transformation. So this is most important as well. So businesses moving forward need to automate, digitalize as many of their processes. Number one is to speed up the transaction, to simplify the transaction, and also to reduce the unique cost of the transaction. So digital transformation is important. So SMEs must not ignore this area when they want to go for internationalization. And the last one, Dr. Ranjiv, you mentioned just now, sustainability. In any business, you cannot do without sustainability. So moving forward, multinationals will only buy from companies that comply on the ESG standards. So that's why it's important for SMEs to start. Of course, it's difficult. I know it's not easy for SME to fully embrace ESG, because many of them, number one, they don't know what is ESG all about. Number two, even if some of these SME wanted to embrace ESG, they just do not know how to do it. Right? Even if they know how to do it, the next question they're going to ask is, where do I get the money to do so? So a lot of obstacles for SMEs to embrace into ESG. But having said that, doesn't mean SME can ignore this one. They have to start the process of embracing ESG into their business. So these are the three important aspect where SMEs need to work on before they even start their internationalization journey. So with this, I end my presentation here. So I hope the audience learn something from my presentation, and thank you very much for your attention. Over back to you, Dr.
Yeah.
Now yes. Please.
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
As told, 20 minutes for discussion, and if you have time, 10 minutes for any question answers.
Sir, am I audible?
Thank you. Over to you.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Ranjit, for your kind words, and good to listen that you're also associated with the IBM University. Sir, the presentation will be shared.
I hope Mr. Meng has stopped the presentation, so you can.
Yes, I've stopped it. Yep.
Then you should be able to share your presentation, Dr. Shahid.
Yes. Dr. Ranjit, I believe the participants can ask the question to our first keynote speaker. Meanwhile, I am going to this upload
Okay.
my presentation.
Mr. Meng, Dr. Shahid will take around 5 minutes. So if any questions are there, you can take it up.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing any questions. Any questions are there for Mr. Meng?
Yeah,
Any questions?
possibilities, and there are no questions either. They don't understand. Or my presentation is so clear that they got all the information they need.
Yeah. Let's see. Till now, nothing has come. If you have any questions, you can ask the team to unmute and start asking, or you can put it in the chat box. Nothing has come as of now.
2 days ago, I was moderating this a session on digital banking in Malaysia. On the banking and finance summit, yeah. So there are so many questions. Also, we have to stop. Sorry, we have to stop. So you say please reserve the question and come back next year.
Yes. I think Dr. Shahid is ready now, so we can come back to the questions later. Over to you,
Sir, my PPT is visible now.
Yeah, but you can put it in the slide mode. I think it's in the other side. So full screen. You can put it in the full screen.
That's it.
Yeah. You can start, sir. It's visible now.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Very good morning, friends. It is an immense pleasure for me to deliver a keynote speech in this international conference on the theme, the studies of business survival in the current global business. I'm grateful to the lovely organizers for this opportunity. Friends, I hope the picture is visible. Is it visible to everyone?
Yes.
Yeah, you have to see this picture. I request the participants, you have to see this picture one and the following picture. Can you please tell me or write your thoughts in the chat option about the picture? Well, this is the second picture. Well, I request all of you to please, share your thoughts. Absolutely, yes. Picture one is about sustainability, and picture two is about greenery all over. It is a beautiful place on earth, and who does want the entire world to be like this picture? I mean, greenery all around the world. Going green is not the same thing as sustainability, albeit they are related. Although the terms are often used interchangeably, green is more frequently associated with the single product or process. But yes, when it comes to sustainability, it is more associated with an organization's holistic approach. I mean, it is a broader approach from organizations when we look into sustainability. Friends, what experts suggest is that green growth is not a replacement for sustainable development. Rather, it provides a practical and flexible approach for achieving concrete, measurable progress across its economic and environmental pillars, while taking full account of the social consequences of greening the growth dynamic of the economies. Well, with this notion, I will share my insights on going green, but from multiple perspectives. Well, the concept of green, it refers to the practices, policies, products that are environmentally friendly, sustainable, and are focused on reducing the negative impacts on this planet. Well, and the concept of green has gained significant traction in recent years. As we all know, societies worldwide have recognized the urgent need to address environmental challenges. Going green serves as guiding principle for not only individuals but businesses, governments, organizations, to transition towards a more sustainable, towards a more environmental friendly and conscious future? Well, some of the key reasons for the increased attention, for the heightened attention on sustainability and the transition towards a greener world is possibly because we all know there is a climate change. So, the global climate crisis is one of the most urgent challenges that we face today. Earth's climate is changing rapidly due to human activities, primarily the emission of greenhouse gases, and going green involves reducing carbon emissions, adapting renewable energy sources, mitigating the impact of climate change. I belong to a place, namely Kashmir in India. We used to have winter starting from somewhere mid of the September or October mostly. But since last decade, uh, it is now it starts in January. I mean, there is a visible change in climate, not only there but around the world. Another big reason is we all know there are, I mean, resource depletion is there happening like anything. Most precious resources, be it the fossil fuels, be it the forests, be it the water bodies, are being depleted at unsustainable rates. Well, by going green, we strive to conserve resources, reduce waste, shift towards renewable and sustainable alternatives. Well, there is environmental degradation as human activities such as deforestation, pollution, habitat destruction have significantly degraded the ecosystems. And of course, when there is environmental degradations and pollution, they have adverse effects on human health. By embracing sustainable practices and reducing pollution, we can create healthier living environments. Friends, besides, there are more reasons for going green, like going green includes social responsibility and equity considerations. Addressing the social and economic disparities, ensuring access to clean resources, and considering the needs of vulnerable or poor population around the globe. There are also international commitments. I mean, governments, organizations, societies worldwide, we have made international commitments to address environmental challenges. I'm sure you all will agree. And our keynote speaker, Meng Kyu Hu, also mentioned to prioritize global networking. I'm sure you all will agree that we are no longer attached to a single country. Rather, we as global citizens, this conference is an evidence, right? Friends, there are agreements. And there are, you can understand, there are United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and they have set targets and guidelines for sustainable development. Going green aligns with the global commitments and demonstrates a commitment to fulfilling our collective responsibilities as global citizens. Well, as I mentioned, there is an attempt towards sustainability. When it comes to sustainability, we don't have to look into one aspect. Rather, organizations have to take the broader approach into consideration if they need to ensure sustainability. So there are concepts like green marketing, green HR, green finance, green IT, green buildings, and much more green has to be focused on. So I will be sharing my insights on some of these aspects towards sustainability. Well, PPT is visible. Yeah, friends, my voice is audible and PPT is visible.
Dr. Shahid is quite audible and visible.
Yeah, thank you, Sonai sir. Friends, going green in marketing. We all know there is a promise. Marketing is a promising area in marketing, and the concept of going green can play a significant role in marketing strategies for businesses. Incorporating environmental sustainability into marketing efforts can help attract and engage environmentally conscious consumers, enhance brand reputation, and contribute to a positive social and environmental impact. And some ways businesses can integrate this green concept into their marketing can be like they can do green messaging, storytelling, as they can develop marketing campaigns that highlight their environmentally friendly practices, sustainable products, and initiatives. They can use green product positioning by highlighting the environmental benefits and sustainable features of products or services. Businesses can obtain the recognized certifications such as Energy Star, organic certifications are there. You all know, nowadays there is a focus towards organic concept. These symbols provide assurance to the consumers that the product meets specific environmental standards and aligns with their values. Businesses can also partner with environmental organizations or support green initiatives. They can incorporate eco-friendly packaging materials such as recycled or biodegradable materials and communicate this environmentally conscious choice to the customers. Friends, by integrating Go Green into the marketing strategies, businesses can attract and engage environmentally conscious consumers. They can differentiate their brand. They can contribute to a more sustainable future. It is essential to ensure that green messaging aligns the brand's actual practices and values, as authenticity and transparency are indeed key in building trust and long-term customer relationships. Some of the companies are there which have already taken, initiatives in this direction, and they are the kind of the role models. So Tesla is a prominent electric vehicle manufacturer. IKEA, the Swedish furniture retailer, has made sustainability a core part of its business strategy. Ben and Jerry is another noteworthy example. Friends, green marketing has evolved over time, and there are several emerging research areas that can contribute to the advancement of that field. Like promising researchers, they can take topics, they can kind of investigate, they can conduct the research studies, like investigating consumer behavior and decision making process related to sustainable consumption. Research can focus on exploring innovative and effective strategies for green advertising and communication. Research can explore how green brands differentiate themselves in the marketplace, the effects of green brand positioning on consumer perception and loyalty, and strategies for developing and managing green brand equity. Exploring sustainable sourcing, green logistics, supplier selection based on environmental criteria, and the impact of sustainable supply chain practices on brand reputation and consumer perception can be another good research area. Packaging, we all know, plays a significant role in green marketing. Research can focus on sustainable packaging design, consumer perceptions of eco-friendly packaging, influence of packaging on product evaluations and purchase decisions, and the effectiveness of packaging sustainability claims. Examining the impact of price premiums, discounts, subsidies, rewards on consumer choices, and adoption of environmentally friendly options can be another research area. There can be exploring cross-cultural differences. So between countries, between different cultures, in green consumer behavior and Perceptions can provide valuable insights. So research can compare attitudes towards sustainability, motivations for green consumption, and the effectiveness of green marketing strategies across different cultural contexts. Friends, these research areas can contribute to the understanding of green marketing and help businesses and policymakers make informed decisions to promote sustainability and meet the evolving needs of uh, environmentally conscious consumers. Well, friends, another promising area where businesses must give due attention towards sustainability is green HRA. Well, HR initiatives. Uh, I mean, when it comes to green HR, it is when the field of human resources focuses on expanding its role to support the organization in the pursuit of sustainability. One of the author quoted that green HR focuses on the development, implementation, and maintenance of all the activities aimed at making staff members, employees in the organization, supportive and committed to sustainable goals. Well, initiatives encompass HR processes of staffing, performance management and appraisal, training and development, employment relations aligned with organizations' sustainability goals. And there are several companies that have demonstrated strong commitments to green HR practices and sustainability. As I mentioned, IKEA. IKEA is that Swedish furniture retailer has a comprehensive sustainability agenda that extends to its HR practices. Unilever is a multinational company, consumer goods company, has a strong commitment to sustainability through its sustainable living plan. Johnson and Johnson is another noteworthy example. Google, a technology giant, has prioritized sustainability and environmental stewardship in its operations. Some of the research areas that again aspiring researchers can look into green leadership and management. Research can be conducted on employee green behavior and engagement. Explore the factors that influence employees' engagement in green initiatives and their adoption of environmentally friendly behaviors at work. The research can examine the effectiveness of various green employee benefits and incentives in driving sustainability efforts. There can be research to investigate the effectiveness of different training methods, the role of sustainability knowledge and skills in enhancing employee engagement and performance, and the integration of sustainability into existing HR training and development initiatives. Another area that businesses can look into towards sustainability is green finance. Well, green finance refers to financial products, services, and investments that promote environmental sustainability and support the transition to a low carbon sustainable economy. It involves incorporating environmental, social, and governance factors into financial decision making processes to address climate change, promote renewable energy, and support environmentally friendly projects and initiatives. I have to be a little bit fast now, looking into the time constraints. So, green IT. Green IT is another area. As we know, there is information technology boom, and nowadays hardly companies can think without information technology. Green IT, also known as green information technology, it involves incorporating sustainable principles and practices into the development and operation of IT systems and infrastructure. The aim of green IT is to minimize the environmental impact of IT and promote energy efficiency, resource conservation, and sustainability. And when it comes to the companies that have taken the great initiatives in this regard, well, Google is there, Apple is there, Microsoft, Dell Technologies, Cisco, Intel, all these are inspiration. I mean, they have taken good initiatives towards green information technology. There is another good area that is green buildings. Green buildings, you know, green construction. And when it comes to the countries that have made significant strides, progresses in promoting and implementing green building practices, well, Denmark has been a pioneer in sustainable architecture and urban planning. Sweden is committed to sustainable development and has a strong focus on green building practices. Germany, Singapore, United States, Canada, Netherlands, Australia are good examples for green buildings concept. There can be new research areas for green buildings, like exploring advanced energy efficient technology, renewable energy integration, energy storage solutions. Well, research can be to explore the use of sustainable and recycled materials, building material. Then green buildings prioritize occupant health and well-being. Research in this area can focus on investigating the impact of indoor environmental factors such as air quality, thermal comfort, lighting on occupant health, productivity, and satisfaction. Friends, going green may seem, challenges ahead. There may seem challenges ahead. But I was going through one HBR article by Richard A. Clark, et al., where he has mentioned a new common wisdom has emerged. That promises the ultimate reconciliation of environmental and economic concerns. In this new world, both businesses and environment can win. Being green is no longer a cost of doing business. It is a catalyst. For innovation, new market opportunities, and wealth creation. Now, friends, who has the responsibility? Well, it is not me only. It is not you only. It is not business and non-business organizations only, and it is not authorities only. There has to be a collective effort. The responsibility for going green in business lies with multiple stakeholders, and a collective effort is needed to achieve sustainable practices. Well, the responsibility lies with business owners and executives, employees, customers, government and regulatory bodies, industry associations and organizations, suppliers and business partners, investors and financial institutions, local communities and NGOs. Hence, by working together, these stakeholders can drive sustainable practices. They can promote environmental responsibility and contribute to a more sustainable and resilient future. It will take just think sustainable and green principles is not just a trend. Cultivating sustainable and green practices help organizations become more efficient, competitive, and profitable. It is more than simply a good thing to do. Businesses have begun to realize many practical short-term as well as long-term benefits to implement environmentally conscious improvements or going green. But a lot more needs to be done. With these words, I must thank to everyone. I must thank to Dr. Ranjit sir being the moderator. and all the participants for your patience. Since I have taken a lot of time, I believe if it is okay, participants, if you have any queries, you can write me an email, and I will be more than happy to reply to your queries. Over to you, Ranjit sir.
Morning to you and to all the conference participants. Ayubowan from Sri Lanka. And thank you for that wonderful introduction, sir. Now I'm even more driven and motivated to give my best. So I believe the theme of this conference is about survival. After all, we have seen over the last few years, especially in a post-pandemic environment, which is a very new environment, and given so much of uncertainty, there's a war in the breadbasket of the world, Russia versus Ukraine, and then you see the financial markets are in turmoil in the West, energy crisis affecting Europe, we see a climate crisis affecting Asia, and given all this turmoil, the only thriving for any business in the last few months and maybe the last year or so has been surviving. So basically, we are in an environment where surviving is the new thriving. So I think it's very apt that we have set a theme called business survival strategies, because to thrive or to grow or to develop or to make a profit, we first must survive. So the whole idea of my presentation today, my keynote today, is to understand what is the role that sustainability has to play in a survival strategy for a business. I believe Dr. Shahid shared a very insightful presentation earlier on how sustainability has come up, the green marketing aspects, and so on. So I will be able to build on a lot of that knowledge that he shared already. So moving on, I wish to share the opening remarks of, and this is a quote from Peter Drucker, who said that the best way to predict the future is to create it. We either wait for change to come to us, and then we are running helter-skelter trying to change, or we identify what will the future want, what will the future demand, and we get ready with it today. That's what smart economies do. That's what smart academics do. And that's exactly what a smart professional or an entrepreneur would do as well. Now, if you look at this, already we are beginning to understand. Now, I first started learning about sustainability way back in 2011, 12, that time period. Now, during that time period, my friends, what I saw was that people were talking about sustainability. People were talking about sustainability, but people were not necessarily giving a value to it, a number to it, to say this is how much lack of sustainability is costing us. This is how much the damage we do to our planet is costing us. Come, let's say 12 years later, today, we are putting a number. We are able to put a number. KPMG recently put a number saying $40 billion. That's the damage that the American economy faces every year due to extreme weather-related incidents and due to issues concerning lack of sustainability. So, given another 10 years, companies will be looking for sustainability managers. They are already looking, but that's going to proliferate and happen even more. Sustainability champions, sustainability managers, sustainability analysts, sustainable finance analysts, sustainable supply chain specialists. The world is going to be looking for sustainability specialists in a much bigger way than now. So are you going to wait for that and then adapt, or are you going to be ready from now on and then so that you will be able to adapt to those and make use of those opportunities? I'm very proud to say that my campus in Sri Lanka is actually the only campus as at now that is having sustainability as an MBA as an MBA main module, which is available for students to pick. So we are doing a lot of work on this area, starting by spreading the awareness. And this is also an area which I am studying further as a part of my doctoral studies as well. Before I get into the theories and the definitions, it's sometimes, rather than seeing the effects of sustainability, it's a lot easier to notice the signs of lack of sustainability, which is all around us. Beginning with, we have the increasing amount of natural disasters. Over the last 20 years, we have had somewhere close to about 10,000 extreme weather incidents happening all around the world. And that's usually a number that you might associate over 100 years, not over 20 years. So you can see the alarming rate at which we face this problem. We also have the rising pandemics, the rising epidemics, right? That's also because of the fact that we have actually built our communities, built our environments in a very unsustainable manner. Check this out. If you put lots of people into a room, right? If you put lots of people into a room and pack that room, is there a higher chance of diseases and epidemics and pandemics spreading, or is there a lesser chance? I like the answer from the audience. I would like to have the answer from this wonderful educated audience we have with us today. To have the answer from our audience, if that's okay. If you pack a lot of people into a room, will there be a lesser chance of a pandemic or an epidemic spreading, or will there be a higher chance? What will happen? Let's say you pack like 20 people into a room of that can handle about, say, 10 people or 5 people. What will happen? Any answers? Would anyone like to? Yeah, thank you very much for that answer, which I got on the chat. Basically, you will realize that you are having more chances of diseases and pandemic spreading. Now imagine 50% of the world population, 50% of the world population being packed into 3% of the world's land area. So if you look at today, cities in the world only account for about 3 to 4% of the world's land area, but 50% of the people are living there. So you could actually see a lot of issues with lack of sustainability around us. That's also one reason why the pandemic spread so fast. We see declining health conditions globally. The summers are getting a lot warmer. I'm not sure the situation in Indonesia, but here back in Sri Lanka, the usual warm months have now basically turned the country into an oven. It's so hot. You see diminishing species around the world. So many species are due to go extinct over the next 10 years. So these are all results of lack of sustainability, which we see everywhere. So what exactly is sustainability? How do we define sustainability? Yeah. How do we define sustainability? So we say that sustainability means, according to the Brundtland Commission of the United Nations, meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. How can we meet the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs? Yeah. In short, if I am to further summarize this, the art of business in an interdependent world. When what one country does is affecting another country, when what one company does will affect the supply chain of another company, when how one country's consumers behave are affecting how the consumers of another country are getting affected when they go to buy something, when they use something. How we do business in a world like that, that exactly is the meaning and the definition of sustainability. Yeah. Today, if one country is polluting the environment, because the top 10 polluters of the world are actually contributing to about 67% of the total pollution worldwide, right? About 67% of the pollution worldwide is happening from about the top 10 polluters of the world. Now, mind you, there is no rule saying that if the US is polluting a lot, that only the people of the US will get sick, right? Let's, for example, when they dump things into the ocean, if a country dumps its wastage and garbage and all that into the ocean, that the ocean currents can take it to a completely different country and affect the food supply chain of that particular country. So that's why some of the countries like Honduras, which is one of the least polluters of the world, they are the most affected due to this issue of lack of sustainable economic behavior. So how do we do business in this very interdependent world? That exactly is what we are talking about under sustainability. Now, a lot of people think sustainability is only about expenses. That when we take care of the environment, when we take care of the societies and the people, that we just end up spending money. A lot of people forget that economic viability is one of the key drivers, one of the key and the main focus areas of sustainability. How can we do good to the planet? How can we do good to our society? But how can we also do good to our shareholders and make a good profit? This, the common point across this trio of factors is what we call as sustainability: economic viability, social equity, and environmental protection. So what can we do to safeguard our environment? Like, can we grow more trees? Can we cut down on the emissions? What can we really do there? Social equity. Are we giving employment opportunities to people from disadvantaged communities? Through our employment, are we actually helping certain disadvantaged communities to come up? For example, in India, the Tata Group, where for their hotels, the Taj hotel chain, they always tend to hire a lot of people from the second tier cities, from the second tier hotel schools, and give them opportunity to grow and to come up the ladder. And that's exactly why when the unfortunate terror attacks were happening in India back in 2007, their employees were willing to lay down their lives to protect the guests of the hotel. Right? Then comes economic viability. Because of our sustainability, can we charge more? Can we get the customer to pay more? Are the customers happy to pay more? Right? One example, once again, in Sri Lanka, if you take the apparel sector, we cannot really compete with the likes of China, Vietnam, or even Kenya for that matter, in terms of cost. We are, however, a compliance destination, a destination that is known for much proper compliance of labor standards, better health standards for the laborers, and so on, which in return helps our suppliers to actually charge a bit of a premium price. So remember, sustainability is not just about making or having expenses. Not at all, right? I want to share this one example. This is a case study which I presented last year. Now, in Sri Lanka, our financial technology main enabling body, the Lanka Pay, as we call it, Lanka Pay basically had a system called the QR code system, which helps merchants, roadside people, those who are selling some king coconut or some rice packets, to actually accept payments digitally, right? This definitely falls under social sustainability because you are getting more people included in the digital economy. Now, we are a country with over 21 million population. There's no chance that by only getting the 4 to 5 million who live in the Colombo city, the capital city, that we are basically going to be, there's no chance that by only getting the Colombo people or the capital-based people or the city-based people to use digital economy transactions, that we can get a digital economy adapted. The way forward for our sustainability is for us to become a sustainable digital economy is to get more players to play in this digital economy as well. So if you look at the results, within 1 year, they were able to get 250,000 merchants on board. And I'm very happy to say that this year, in my MBA class, where I teach finance and where I am, as a part of it, I teach them finance technology, we've got 30 groups of students to go out there. Their group assignment was go out there, pick a vendor, and introduce this digital transformation to these people. Get them to start using QR code-based payments, right? So it's a small step, but in a much bigger plot and scheme. I hope I'm audible and visible. Can somebody confirm whether I'm audible and visible? I think that will make it easy.
Yes, you are audible.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So a much newer concept in all this is actually what we call as the sustainability sweet spot. Basically, we are solving a particular sustainability problem leads to you being able to charge a higher price, you being able to charge more money and make a better profit out of it. So some companies have actually cracked this code. Some companies have cracked this code. We see Tesla, for example, right? Tesla is one company that is able to charge a higher price for the vehicle they provide, and that's because it's electric and it's good for the planet. But they also made sure that the car was nicely designed so people actually want to draw it. Nobody wants to drive just a car that looks like a box just because it's environmentally friendly. So Tesla cracked it by giving a beautifully designed car which is also electric and environmentally friendly. Starbucks coffee, for example. Starbucks openly says that they are spending more money for the growing of the coffee. They make sure the rainforest doesn't get destroyed. They make sure that their coffee is grown in the shade, which gives it a different taste. So as a result, Starbucks is able to charge a much higher price for their coffee compared to their other competitors. Right? Being sustainable or doing business in a socially and environmentally friendly manner provides you with the license to operate, right? Because end of the day, people of your society and community should be okay to have you operating. They need to be okay to for you to be in business, and they won't be okay for you to be in business if you're not being sustainable. On another note, efficiency. When you cut down your emissions, you are able to cut down a lot of your waste, right? Also the growth. When you go in a sustainability direction, your business begins to grow. Your business begins to go to a new level altogether. Innovation, that's another game changer. You will get new product ideas for new products and services. And also inspiration. And you become a brand that inspires the others. In Sri Lanka, we have Dilma Tea, where they've been able to grow a tea brand while taking care of the society as well, which in return has inspired customers to buy them, even in a price-sensitive and price-conscious market. Right? If you take New Brew, it's a beer made using recycled urine water in Singapore. Right? They've recycled urine water and made a beer out of it, which people are very happy to drink. If you look at how over a time period sustainability has evolved to what we have today, so in the initial World War times, the focus was donate money, let's build our hospitals again, build these buildings again and communities again. Because end of the war, the First World War in the 1918 and all that used to be the focus. Come the 1930s and 40s, the big concern became about workers' rights, equal rights for Black workers of America, equal rights for the colored workers, and so on. Right. So that basically was, as we say, the workers' rights movement. Come the 60s, we had the environmentalism, right? Like how we can take care of our rainforest better and all. And then the 70s and 90s came the focus of the women's rights. Today, we see a different direction in the Go Woke movement, where we are saying that companies need to give equal recognition for men and women of different sexual orientations, different genders, because every time when there is an overall social focus on a particular topic, companies are expected to make it clear where they are, right? So if you ignore sustainability, definitely there will be lots of challenges. Number one, as we say, your brand will be attacked. Employees, investor confidence gets lost. Activists will always attack the weakest link in the supply chain. For example, if you take Apple is not always affected, but Apple's supplier, Foxconn, right, which has had accusations of very stressful work conditions, via that, Apple gets attacked as well. But having a sustainability strategy is not easy. Because sometimes you have to face very tough questions like, is it fine to buy cotton from the Xinjiang region of China, which has been accused of poor treatment of the native Muslims in that part? Is it okay to buy oil from Russia or not? Because they say you buy oil from Russia, you are effectively fueling the war, but you might also be able to get a cheaper oil for your people, which fuels more economic sustainability for your country. In China, when some brands like Nike said, we don't want to buy your cotton, then in return, the response was, okay, then we will not buy your clothes either. And you saw the local apparel brands picked up in the e-commerce platforms and global brands dropped down. Since we are talking about sustainability as an overall strategy, some companies like Unilever have come forward and said, look, we are not just having sustainability as a part of our company, it's going to be at our heart. So they've laid down a proper sustainability plan and a strategy and said our entire business, our vision, mission, all that is going to be in line with these areas of improving health, reduce environmental impact, and improve the livelihood. So if you look at it, the first one is about social, second one is environment, enhancing livelihood, that means about income, is about what? Economic sustainability as well. And they're supporting that with all these other things like reducing emissions, better sourcing, and so on, right? Finally, if anybody wants to study sustainability and how to improve sustainability, I believe the Sustainable Development Goals of the UN is a good starting point. 17 goals set out very clearly that says if you want sustainability in your organization, in your country, what to focus on. As an academic, if you are into research, my advice, because sustainability is a very vast area, pick one and decide, okay, this is what I want to focus on. If you're from an organization, you might want to decide which one do I want to contribute more, which element of sustainability do we as a company, we as a business want to contribute more to. Why does this make more financial sense as well? Because today, along with the growth of sustainability, we also see the rise of what we call as ESG investing. Investors are specifically looking at investing in companies that are doing well, performing well in terms of environment, social, and governance. By 2021, about $51 billion had been invested into organizations in 2021 alone. And today we see by 2022, is last year, about $330 billion has been already invested into companies which are recognized to be performing well on the sustainability measurements. So it makes financial sense as well. This is no longer just a nice to do thing, right? And I'm going to leave you with a few examples. I believe the earlier presenter, Dr. Haid, wonderfully presented about the green marketing, green tourism. Today, you are having, if you take tourism is a very important industry for my country, Sri Lanka, and even your country, Indonesia. And there are some tour companies that are saying, look, we are going to organize tours by foot. So we will only take you on walking tours. And people, consumers, the tourists who are eco-friendly conscious, they will pick those tours as well. So like we said, you don't wait for the future, you create the future now, you set the trend now. Even if you take some of the countries in the Pacific, right? They have said, we will measure your plastic usage, we will measure your consumption of plastics and other material, and only if you have shown to be, this is actually happening in this country called Palau in the Pacific region, where they clearly say, only if you have shown behavior as a sustainable tourist, we will unlock certain experiences for you. You can't pay and go for these things. You can only get the permission by showing sustainable behavior. Finally, I want to leave you with this message, and this is a message from the famous sustainability brand Patagonia, actually. Patagonia is an outdoor clothing and outdoor gear company. What they very clearly say is, whatever money they earn as profit, they invest it back. They buy land that is under threat. They buy land which companies are trying to grab and do mining and all, and they protect this. And what they say is, when they started, they were not really sure in which direction to go to. There was no grand sustainability plan. They just wanted to do even a little bit to protect the planet, to protect the environment. And they say, begin somewhere, because reputation is built on action and not intention. As a business, as an academic, whatever you can do towards improving sustainability, start somewhere. Is it spreading? Is it doing a basic research that can generate new knowledge? Is it about including a module or a topic on sustainability in your line of teaching? Is it, if you are a business or an entrepreneur, is it about starting a more social, community-friendly and environmental-friendly product? Start somewhere, because your reputation for sustainability is built on action and not intention. So thank you very much. Let's all work towards a sustainable planet, because after all, sustainability is indeed the new survival strategy.
Thank you, Mr. Tarindu, for your insights into different theories and applications of sustainability and different examples. Because this concept is the best example of how we should move forward in this new generation. And for the future, what we are talking about is for 30 years, 40 years from now, I think this is the best way to move forward. So thank you for the insights, and I'm sure audience would have got a lot of new things into the aspect. Since the fourth keynote speaker has not joined, what we will do right now is for the question answer sessions for the all three keynote speakers. I think only Mr. Tarindu and Mr. Meng are only there. So if we have any questions to the speakers, definitely we would love to hear that. Moderator, you can allow people to ask questions. The conference people can allow people to ask questions. Anything is there to Mr. Tarindu specifically, you can ask now. Or otherwise, I think we'll go back to Mikit. I think who was the person? Prince, for asking questions to Mr. Meng also.
Dr. Ranjit, if
Yes.
there is no questions, shall I answer Prince's question?
Just hold on for a minute. If any question is there to Mr. Tarindu, if not, we'll go back to Prince for that question, and Mr. Meng too. Yeah, so Mr. Meng, you can answer that question.
Okay. Thanks, Doctor. Thank you, Prince, for the questions. Yeah, I think there's a very valid questions and very interesting discussion to be made based on this question. So I would like to divide your question into two parts. Number one is the adaptations of SMEs, in specifically three countries: Malaysia, Indonesia, and Philippines. Adaptation, how should they adapt to the post pandemic situation? And the second thing, and what are the things they need to do to grow their business, right? So these are the two questions I'm going to address. So as you mentioned just now, Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines looks very similar in terms of their what we call economic performance. Yes, if you look at the numbers, they are quite similar. I mean, GDP growth and the inflation. But if you are to go slightly in depth, actually they are quite different. In two distinct areas. Number one, the population. Malaysia, we only have 33 million population, which is very small, in relative to Indonesia and Philippines. Indonesia, 270 million, and they're going to hit 300 million in a few years' time. Philippines, 110 million. So this is the distinct difference, in terms of population. In terms of GDP size, Malaysia and Philippines are quite close, about 370, slightly below $400 billion, But Indonesia is far ahead. So Indonesian GDP is about 1.2 trillion, so which is at least 3 times of the size of Malaysian and Philippines. So what does it mean, in the business world. Okay, so basically with your big population like Indonesia, Philippines, I mean, safe to say you can grow your business based on your domestic demand because you have the population, to buy your things. But in Malaysia, we businesses need to go beyond the borders. This is the reason why in my presentation, I emphasize on internationalization, because for Malaysia businesses to grow, they have to look beyond the borders because our domestic market is simply too small, So that's about the economics perspective, How about other areas of the business? So in these three countries, obviously, the consumer behavior will be different. I mean, things that are selling well in Malaysia are not necessarily be able to sell in Indonesia and Philippines simply because people's preference are different. Color tones, designs, everything will be different, right? So in terms of cost structure, the cost of doing business will also be different, because in Malaysia the cost is different. Because in Indonesia, I understand that when businesses wanted to rent the retail outlets, they have to pay perhaps 1 year or 2 years rental in advance. That means if you are to enter into a tenancy agreement for 2 years, so the business people need to fork out 24 months of rental in advance. The situation is different in Malaysia. So the business people don't have to pay out in advance, but they settle the rental on a monthly basis. So the cost structure can be different, So in addition to the rental, I mean, just example, so people cost, any other cost, can be the things, the cost structure will be different. So the third one is about the people, the staff, the employees in Malaysia, in Indonesia, in Philippines. Their expectation will also be different, right? So these are the differences that they will make SMEs to have to look at the different strategy as they grow their business. So fundamentally, they're quite similar, but in reality, quite a bit of difference. So what are the things they need to do to adapt? All right. So I will give a very general view for these three countries because I don't have time to break into details. So broadly, very broadly, what are the things that businesses, including SMEs, need to do to adapt? Right. So first, of course, the way of doing business. So the pandemic has actually changed the entire landscape of the business. So in the past, businesses don't have to, I mean, they are not keen on delivery, virtual, digital kind of thing, right? But today, delivery, online purchase becomes so common. So if businesses reluctant to change, if they don't change, they don't adapt to technology, they can't go into this piece of business. So number one, they have to change the way of doing business, right? Number two, they have to adapt to the business, different business environment, So competition has changed. Consumer expectation has changed. So a lot of things has changed. Even cost structure has changed. So first, for them to move forward, they must first adapt to the changes. Then after when they are adaptable to the changes, then they talk about the growth, how to grow their business. Just now in my presentation, I have under item 3.0, I have highlighted 4 key measures, where businesses can consider, need to consider, or must consider to bring the business to the next level. The first one is to leverage government assistance. The second one is the supply chain management. The third one is the prioritize global networking, and the fourth one is sharpen employee skills. So in this context, what I want to re-emphasize is for businesses to look to strengthen. Number first, to strengthen the internal administration first. Number one, leadership, right? Leadership to me is utmost important for any businesses. So if the head don't run correctly, so the entire business will fail, right? So leadership, SME owners, they must learn, continue to learn, and they must become more competent. I mean, they have to be better than competitors. So leadership is important. They must be able to drive the business to the right direction. They must be able to motivate the people wanting to deliver results with them. So number two is to beef up their internal digitalization process, right? So things that can be digitalized, they have to do so. This is important because to improve in terms of speed, to better manage their costs, and also to drive innovation. Because if you don't do, your competitors will do. Right? If you don't do, you will stay still, and your competitors will go ahead of you. And the third thing they have to do to prepare themselves for growth is to groom their talent. Talent is very important because no matter how good you are a leader, if you don't have a good followers, you cannot call yourself a leader. So you need to groom people, hire the right people, and retain the good people. So these people need to continue to reskill and upskill. Because in the new business environment post-COVID, there are a lot of new skills need to be learned. And lastly, before they embark into any business expansion, they need to strengthen their financial position. Financial position, there are a few ways. Number one, you leverage on the government assistance I mentioned just now. But I'm not sure about in Philippines, but Indonesia, I suppose the government also handing out some incentive to the business communities. In Malaysia, the government there has been handing out a lot of support, financial support and non-financial support to the business entity. Strengthen the financial position. If you don't have assistance from the government, then go to talk to the bank and see whether or not you can raise some financing. Otherwise, you have to talk to investors to put in to strengthen your equity position. Because you need money. You need money to grow your business. Many SMEs has what do you call it? Deflated their financial position over the last 2 years. So they burn a lot of money. So once the internal structure has been strengthened, then they have to look at something more external, to work on the supply chain management. So instead of if they are buying from overseas, now they have to look for some close to show kind of suppliers, right? In order to have fast delivery and to minimize storage, because storage stocks will eat up your working capital. So the next one will be global networking. As I mentioned just now, you have to prioritize your global networking, where you want to sell, right? So Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, we are within ASEAN. I think we can leverage on some of the tax incentive allowed. Within the countries, members country. So these are the few things. So as I mentioned, adapt to the change and strengthen the internal and the external structure of the companies. So if necessary, they may have to remodel their business operation. How they do business, they have to change it. So Prince, do I miss out something?
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Meng. I think that is clear. I can understand what I asked you. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Back to you, Doctor.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ho.
Yeah.
Can you proceed to the following questions? We have one participant raising hand right now, Dr. Firdaus Ahmad. Can you join us? Okay.
Yes, thank you very much. Actually, I was hearing the last speaker. The question is, my inquiry is about financial resilience. That how easy or how difficult it is to achieve the financial resilience of the marginal groups while discussing environmental sustainability. As the last speaker was discussing about, something about financial inclusion, that people along the roadside, they are selling coconut water or doing some vendor activities, and they are using digital technology. So can we say it is their financial resilience? If yes, how much time it will take to make them fully resilient? Or it is different from financial resilience or digitalization? My second, counter question is, it has recently seen that the slogan of SDG programs is to investment in green, sustainable development programs. The more focus is green finance. But in reality, the projects are going against the green finance. There is very less investment done on the name of green investment. So, how to tackle this mismatch gap, and what is the financial resilience and how it is different from financial income? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ferdos. Who you are asking to the questions? All the speakers or specifically to the speakers? Sorry, yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I was not able to, get my mic unmuted. So this question is, for the last speaker, but I would love to, get viewpoints from all the speakers.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Firdaus. So, at first, we let the latest speakers here, Mr. Tarindo, right? Mr. Tarindo, can you join us? Or else probably Mr. Mingkui, who can give insight for this question first before Mr. Tarindo.
Yeah, okay.
It's related to financial resilience, right? How to maintain it and how long?
Hi, Dr. Firdaus. I will try to address your first question, on the micro business. I mean, the one you're mentioning, selling coconut water by the roadside, all this thing. So financial resilience for these people are not easy at all, because first of all, their literacy knowledge is I would say is generally rather low, because they don't have a proper knowledge on financial literacy. So how to manage their financial resources, because these micro business mean they are doing very small business. They live on a daily basis. Whatever they receive, they will use the same money to buy for the stocks that will be sold the next day. So it's very straightforward, simple kind of financial management for these people, right? So when you talk about resilient, so I think financial resilience will be more applicable for the larger people. I mean, the larger business, the small or even the medium enterprises. For the micro, I think what they need to understand more is more about cash flow management, how to manage their cash flow. So they have to ensure they don't spend more than what they receive from business, right? If they receive $100, so they should only spend, let's say, maximum $90 to buy material. Because if they spend more than what they receive, that means they are not making money, right? So I think that is something micro business need to learn before they grow the business to become small business and eventually to a medium enterprise. So I hope this one addressed the queries.
Okay, Mr. Mingkui, so normally, the business can maintain the financial resilience.
Are you addressing the question to me, the second question?
No, that's still the first question.
The first question I already highlighted just now about the micro businessman, right? Financial resilience
yes.
for micro business, yeah. So I have answered the question.
And how long normally it can be maintained, the financial resilience for micro?
Oh, how long? So as long as they manage their cash flow well, so the business will continue. Because if you look at micro business, what are the failure of micro business? Number one is the lack of business, which is unlikely unless the product they are selling are not up to the quality. For example, if they were selling coconut water, as long as the water remains fresh, then people will continue to consume, right? So the things will turn back if they fail to manage their cash flow from the business in a proper way. For example, if they receive revenue sales of $100 from the day, and instead of keeping this money for business, and the micro business owner use this money to do something else. So they buy a new TV, to buy a new bicycle for somebody else. So once the cash flow chain is broken, so they don't have working capital to continue with the business. So as long as the cash flow cycle is continue, so the business can prolong. Yeah. Then they will come to a stage where they will grow, expand the business. So from selling 50 coconuts a day, maybe they will grow it to sell 80, eventually to 100. That's how they progress over time. But cash flow management is very important for micro business.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Hu, for the answers. And maybe we can proceed to Mr. Tarindu. Can you join us, Mr. Tarindu, to answer the second question, or probably enhancing the first question answer from Mr. Hu? Yes, Mr. Tarindu?
Yes, hi. Sorry, I was recording the testimonial for the conference. Sorry about that.
Okay, thank you, no problem.
Sorry, if you could repeat the question.
Okay, for the first question is related to financial resilience, how to maintain it and how long it can be maintained for the financial resilience. And for the second one is related to SDGs, but I'm not pretty sure what is it about. It's not that much clear here. So, Dr. Firdaus,
I'm sorry, but the question is not visible to me, Aulia. That's the challenge. If you could just share the question with me, because I can't really hear what you're saying.
Okay, so Dr. Firdaus, can you please help us to review or just type it in the chat box?
Thank you very much. Again, I am, having the opportunity to interact with the speaker. So my straightforward two questions are that how different is financial inclusion from financial resilience, and how much time it will take to have financial resilience of the most vulnerable sections of the people, and how green finance will help us in achieving sustainable development goals. As per the World Bank reports, most of the green finances are documented. There is debate, there is discussion, policy should be like this and that, but at ground the investment is going against these green finances. Banks are not entertaining green finance. Most of the funds are going on with green finance investment. How to tackle this mismatch between environmental? Yes, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are audible. You are definitely audible. I hope I am audible.
So these are the two small questions. Please put some light on that.
Sure. So I think the first term, financial resilience, that's a very key term. The financial resilience is basically about, do you have enough funds with you to face the troubled times? Do you have enough funds with you to take you through these times of survival? Because normally, the traditional wisdom of finance has always been the fact that they used to say cash is an unprofitable stance, by having the times where businesses are finding it difficult to generate cash flow, to get the money coming in. That's when you begin to realize the value of cash. So in other words, like checking, is your umbrella ready for the rainy day? Is your cash balance ready to handle the difficult times or the survival time? That's basically what financial resilience is about. So if you had built adequate financial measures in, I think that that would be a time where you will face resilience. You will be able to weather this uncertain time, this survival time, and you have enough cash. So we see, even during these times of difficulty, we see some companies which are extremely cash rich, which actually don't have to worry about getting money into their account tomorrow. It's also to do with the business model. We see a lot of digital companies now offer a top-up model where you can pay the money in advance and keep and use it later. That gives a cash advantage to those companies as well. Now, to answer your second question, Dr. Ahmad, Dr. Malik, I would say, where you asked about how to achieve this resilience, it starts with the business model, where you need to ask, am I having a business model where I can get the cash on time? Or is there any way where I can get the cash even beforehand? If you look at companies like the Alibaba group, what they did was, they said, put the money in advance, top up your account and keep, and then you can pay for something when you're buying. That model has become an absolute game changer because you get the cash in advance, and sometimes people might top up today and then use that money, let's say about 2 days later. So for 2 days, that means there is advancement of cash with the Alibaba group. Now imagine that multiplied by millions of customers around the world. That simply means a very resilient cash flow is with them. Let me just add before I come back to you. Another way to look at cash or financial resilience is by asking whether you are having an eye on the ratios, because there are different ratios that helps us to understand our financial situation. I would specifically look at some of the areas like asset turnover, like are the assets being used to generate enough revenue? And the debt to liabilities ratio, if you have more liabilities than debt, then also you have a problem. So you need to keep an eye on the proper ratios also when you are monitoring your financial resilience. Yes, Dr. Malik, I believe you have a question.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Kalindo. How about that, Dr. Firdaus?
Yeah, thank you very much for this, wonderful explanation. I'm having one counter question. So, do we have time to discuss more, or I can, later read the speaker? Or
Yeah,
I can...
you could throw in a counter proposition, no problem.
Okay. So my, counter question is that when we are talking about resilience, we are having millions of population who are, vulnerable both in urban areas and rural areas. How can business model help them? Because these most vulnerable populations, they are living their life without following any business model. They are hardly managing their daily routine life. So in short, they are earning to feed their mouth. So they do not have concept of saving. They are not ready to financial resilience because their economic conditions are forced them not to think beyond about financial resilience. And we have seen practically when there are floods, when there are earthquakes, or when there is any calamity, these poor people, they have to shift. There is manpower loss, their housing conditions are so much worse, and they are losing each and everything because of any calamity or any unnecessary environmental shock. So how can we help millions of people to follow the business model? Is it having any practical practicality that these people can, or we need to provide them some type of subsidies?
Yeah. Dr. Malik, to be very honest, I'm more of a very capitalist-minded academic myself. I strongly believe that it's not the job of people to earn money for other people. It's a job of people to show them the way and to give them an opportunity. So I'm quite against subsidies and all, because Sri Lanka is one example where over-subsidizing everything possible has actually made people extremely lazy and not wanting to go forward and do things. However, if you take the global statistics about the poverty line is 2.15 USD per day. Anyone below that is in poverty. More than 1 billion people, according to United Nations statistics, are living below that poverty line. So how to give financial resilience to them? Couple of options. Number one, proper education. Are they educated about how to do a small business, how to do their basic business? In Sri Lanka, my campus, we are going to all 4 corners of the country, and we are doing very short programs for informal entrepreneurs, how to get the business model right, how to look into profits, how to make more money, how to develop a business. And we do it in the native language of each region, because by educating them, we can help them to grow their business and build a better financial resilience. In fact, it's a 4-day program we do in each region. Financial resilience is, in fact, one area that we actually train them on. Number two, businesses also do have models that engage the wider audience and the wider community and get them on board. For example, if you look at Unilever, the Shakti Amma concept in India, where they use the rural area ladies as their brand promoters to go and talk to the other ladies and promote the products to them. That way, these ladies also get a job opportunity to earn some money and to become entrepreneurs themselves. So I think companies have already developed these models where, like, if you are targeting a rural area in Asia to promote a product, I don't think putting a supermodel and a billboard is going to work. I don't think that will work at all. But you find a lady from that community, train her, help her to go and promote the products to the others. That way the company makes money and that lady makes money as well. So I believe it's the job of the businesses, the academia, to set up the framework where these people can be a part of it. But giving subsidies, I really don't think is an option because Sri Lanka is one example of having over-subsidized a lot of things, and clearly things didn't really work out well for us.
Okay, sure. You can go ahead, Dr. Firdaus, following the answer of Mr. Tarihan. You're still muted, Dr. Firdaus.
Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity. I am having one more counter question, as there are business models. So companies are already there, engaging their people to hire them and try to disseminate the knowledge of their business model. So what about there is externality? For example, there is flood in a particular area for 2 months. So this model is totally outdated. That will not work in a ground. So if there is government policy or program, if there is earthquake shock, there is flood, any calamity, just like in Corona, these programs will not work at the ground. So that time we have to provide some subsidies. And in policies and business models, I will just complete. In policies and business models, there is one thing missing, that is this environmental externality factor is missing in the policies. They are putting the models, they are putting the program smoothly without thinking that if there is any shock, so that program will not work. Same is happening in India. Every year we are having floods, we are having earthquakes, and these vulnerable people, they have to display from their location. If they are having little savings as marginal groups, they lose all these savings and they are starving. They die sometimes because of hunger. These digitalization or financial intelligence things will not work that time. So it is the government, they have to provide them subsidy. Yes, thank you very much.
Sure. So, so the thing is, subsidies come from the traditional economic viewpoint of the Keynesian economics, where they said, give money, support them with money, and have that. But economic research clearly shows that demand-side economics, Keynesian economic, is not a long-term sustainable approach, because then people get used to living off that. However, if you take something like a scenario of floods or a natural disaster, that's more of a one-off incident. That's a one-off incident, in which case, yes, they need to be supported. But it can't be something that continues over the long term. If every year floods are going to happen, rather than be giving subsidy every year, governments need to look at what can we really do to avoid floods, what kind of drainage technology can we really have. So Dr. Firdaus, I would say, yes, in one-off cases, one-off instances in a natural disaster also, you have to support with subsidy, you have to do that. But in the long run, there has to be a counter to that, where they take off the need to be giving subsidy, and they have a plan instead. So, because global research shows demand side, more than the demand side economics, the supply side economics, where we encourage people to supply more, that economic, the supply side economics actually do bear better sustainable results. So, while yes, in case of natural disasters, they can be helped. Earlier, when you mentioned subsidy, I took it more in the lines of the regular subsidies which are given, which I'm not a big fan of. But in case of any emergencies, yes, that needs to be done. But if you look at the sustainability development goals of the UN and all these developments, what they're trying to do is, how can we take things to a level where these disasters will not have to happen, where the impact of these disasters can be minimized. And by investing in sustainability solutions, in sustainable business models, then definitely, yes, we will be able to move towards more of a utopia, where ideally the impact of these events of natural disasters will either be minimized or close to a zero.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Tarihan, for the insight. How about that, Dr. Firdaus? Do you want to follow this answer? Or you have satisfied with the discussions?
No, thank you very much. It was a wonderful discussion.
Okay, thank you.
And
Wonderful.
Zara, I will share my contact details as well. If anyone wishes to contact me, I'm always available.
Okay, sure, sure.
I'm just putting my
Thank
email
you.
in the chat.
In the chat box. Okay, sure. Thank you, Dr. Tarido. Let's proceed to the next questions. For the participants, do you have any other questions to discuss here? Please raise your hand. Okay, for the information, Mr. Hu, Mengkui Hu, already left the room because he has something came up. So here we only have Mr. Tarindo as the speakers. Okay, any other questions? Okay, for the participants, if you have any other question that you cannot ask here, maybe you can discuss to Mr. Tarindo by yourself and contact him through the email that he already shared in the chat box.
Ms. Aurea, if no further questions, I would like to take your leave.
Okay, thanks. Sure, sure. I think we don't have any other questions here. Maybe we can call off the seminar sessions, Mr. Tarindo. And the end of the discussions with our keynote speakers with the outstanding presentations. Thank you again, keynote speakers, especially for Mr. Tarindo that's still remaining here with us right now for sharing the insight with us today. Hopefully we can benefit their knowledge and can be our inspirations for all of us here. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Tarindo. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure that we've been having great days since the seminar and discussions were definitely resourceful and also well constructed. In a moment, we will run on the next agenda of the parallel sessions, and I will hand on the sessions to the committee. However, before that, let me round off the main sessions here. And once again, I'd like to remind all the presenters to format their Zoom name based on the presentation room. For example, if you are in the room 1, kindly rename your Zoom to R1 and then followed by your full name. Or if you are in the room 5, then you can write down R5 and then followed by your full name and so forth. All presenters here can go to certain Zoom room based on the presentation schedule. And you can join the room by clicking the join button and you will be automatically joining the presentation room. And after the presentation finishes, all presenters are urged to come back to the main room for the closing remark. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've been having a great day since you have finally presented your papers. Ladies and gentlemen, we finally come to the end of 2023 Bandung International Conference of Project Management. We would like to say thank you again to all the keynote speakers for the information, the informative and interesting talks, and to the audience for your active participation. Hopefully, this event will be beneficial for everyone, each of us. Do not forget to post the photo and testimonial in your Instagram and social media, and give hashtag 2023 ICPM and hashtag Info for Academia, and the best Instagram post will get free entry at our next conference. My name is Ai. Thank you for your attention and see you again at our next conference.